How do I create a successful MVP? Building your minimal viable product is one of those supposed must-dos that you need to do when you start your company. The problem is that many startup CEOs don't really understand what an MVP is, nor do these same CEOs know what defines a successful MVP. I don't want this to happen to you. In today's video, I'll explain exactly what an MVP isn't, what an MVP is, and the 5 steps you need to have a successful MVP. And you'll definitely want to listen to my one final thought segment at the end of today's video. It's worth it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. One of the alleged rules you'll hear when you're starting your company is that you have to build an MVP. In fact, they'll tell you, whoever they are, if you don't build an MVP, you don't have a startup. Well, I'm telling you, if you just follow the rules blindly, you're going to get killed. You don't need an MVP just to build an MVP. If you're actually going to build an MVP, the MVP actually has to sell, because if it doesn't sell, you're not going to get any useful feedback. You're not going to learn anything. So it's as simple as that. I'm going to give you 5 steps to building an MVP that sells. And these steps are pretty simple. They're pretty straightforward, but guess what? They actually work. So let's get started. And we're going to start with what's an MVP. Well, an MVP is just a fancy term for your first product that you build on the cheap. The key is the V, which stands for viable. Now, viable means it has to sell. If it doesn't sell, it's not viable because you've wasted precious resources and, most importantly, time. So let's go through those 5 steps you need to develop a successful MVP. And let's start with step number 1. Talk to customers. Yes, talk to customers. Reach out to people and ask these 3 questions, at least these 3 questions. Number 1, what do you want? Number 2, what don't you want? And number 3, what do you want that you haven't seen anywhere else that nobody else has done for you? Now, what you're looking for here is simple. You're looking for things that you can do that are unique and are meaningful to your customers. That's the key. If you can find that, then you're likely to carve out a niche for yourself that's unique in the marketplace. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really simple, but it's the starting point. It's a goal for you and your company. Now let's move on to step number 2 on our list. Number 2, you're looking to build something that's unique. I'm building on point number 1 here, that your MVP is unique in a meaningful way to your potential customers. Now, why is this important? There's all this noise you have to overcome when you're starting your company. When you really think about it, the world has gotten along without you and your great idea and your company forever. So, how do you overcome this when you build something that's unique? Now, this doesn't mean complex. In fact, the product can be really flawed and its utility can be really limited. However, it's the uniqueness that carries the day. The late Clayton Christensen's great book, The Innovator's Dilemma, defines this type of product as a disruptive product. Now, what's a disruptive product? It's a product that sells despite its flaws. That's what we're looking for here. We want something that sells, even though it's flawed, even though it's limited, even though it may be really difficult to use, it still sells because of the uniqueness. That's the mark of a disruptive product, and that's what we're after here. Now, let's move on to step number 3 on our list. Number 3, have what we call an initial objective specification. You've gotten all this feedback. Now, you and your team need to agree on exactly what to build. This means you need to agree on the specs for your product, whatever it is, whether it's a software product, a hardware product, a life science product, whatever it is, you and your team have to agree. This is what we're going to build. It's going to have these features, and here's the schedule we're going to agree upon to get it done. Yes, actually have a schedule. You need everybody to agree on their part and all the details of the schedule. And here's a bonus tip for you. Have all the key stakeholders actually sign the schedule. Yes, actually sign it, because you know what happens when you force people to sign a schedule? That's when people object and say, "Oh, I can't do that." Well, great. That's what you want to hear now, because if they say they're committed and they don't sign the schedule, and then you find out a month or 2 later, or God forbid, 6 months later, that they can't do what they're telling you, then you're screwed. It's much better to find out at the beginning and then negotiate. Force all the key stakeholders to sign the schedule. It works. Now let's move on to number 4 on our list. Number 4, launch quickly. Even if the product is flawed, get it out to the marketplace. Don't wait for the perfect time. Get it out there. Get feedback and learn. This is so important. Launching is just a day in the life of a company. Nobody remembers when a company launches for the first time. Do you remember when Facebook launched that first day? I don't. Do you remember when Google launched, if you're old enough? I certainly don't. Of course not. You know it doesn't matter. Just get it out there. Get the product in the marketplace, as flawed as it might be. Then start learning. This leads me to step number 5 on our list. Number 5, get your customers to pay you something, anything for the product. As I said, the only feedback that matters is from paying customers. You want customers to pay you for what you're doing, even if it's below what it cost you to make the product. Anything will do, because a paying customer means that they actually have to commit to you, and that's what you're after. You want to get this feedback as quickly as possible, because that's how you learn what to do and what to do next. I told you this was going to be really simple, but the steps work. If this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. Now for that one final thought I was promising you. Great product definition is interpreting what your customers tell you. Steve Jobs once famously said, "People don't know what they want until you show it to them." And I couldn't agree more. For example, let's say your customers are telling you they want a product that consumes 10 microwatts of power, when they really want something that consumes 1 microwatt of power. Really learn. Really listen to what customers mean and the directional guidance they're giving you. You have to see the future. They won't. That's the key to winning. If you understand this piece, that's how you iterate. That's how you get better. That's how you build more features and go beyond that basic product that, despite all its flaws, sold. And that's how you dominate a market. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. And if you haven't already, then join my free community for startup CEOs, Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focusing on growing their early stage startups and startup CEOs raising money for their early stage startups. Click the link below this video to join. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.